So I didn't get to watch you do it live, but I'm kind of watching what I can without audio and with audio at the same time. If you're trying to wire up your arena coliseum, I like what you do with the floor. I was considering doing it myself, but I opted out of it for the lighting. Didn't want to make it any lower, and it was going to be a pain to try and get that down here. With all the doors and whatnot, all these moving parts, I wanted clipping if I could avoid it. I have made changes since I showed you last. I put a level up here, and stupid trap. Put some extra doors up there so I can open them up, and my robots can see the enemy, and then they'll react. Otherwise, it's hit and miss. They don't see them. Sometimes they come out. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they might wander out like they were there. They shouldn't. They're supposed to just stand under little platforms up there. Use the little red arena platforms and assign them to the platforms so they'd stay up there. They don't move. Or, in theory. When I had the second door back here, I got rid of this whole little platform area because that's what that took over here. Alright. So I wanted to show you kind of how I wired this. And I'm not through with your video yet, so I don't know how far you've got. But how I did it. Because, like I said, it took me 4 days to build this fun thing, and this really was the hardest part, was wiring it up. Trying to keep motivated and keep this going, because it gets insane. There's 13 switches on mine. 13. 12 of them come through this window, and 1 comes through this window. So what I ended up doing was I put all my switches down, so I knew how many I needed. And I didn't even start wiring until I put all the switches down. Then I thought about how I wanted to do it. Where do I want the wires to go? Then I put all my little transformers up. Still hadn't wired anything, just put all my transformers up here. And then I wired this hallway. And all I did in the hallway, I didn't even do the things like these, weren't here yet. All I did was on the roof, and these little things right here, because I knew I wanted my wires to come down the hall. And I came all the way to the window. I just did the 12 into the window, and the 13th one was later on. 13th one comes out to here, and then goes right straight to this switch. And that's the reason it comes through that window, because it doesn't go anywhere. So like I said, originally, just came out to the window and stopped. Didn't do any more wiring to anything else. This was all set. Then I knew as soon as I would wire something up to a transformer here, boom, it's on a switch. And boom, it's on a different switch. And I have to worry about trying to figure out how I'm going to, get it down the hallway and look as good as I could anyway. So that was this hallway. After that, it became like what you have is how do you get it out? Because you either have to wire obviously on the outside of the building or you have to wire on the inside of the building, and I didn't want to have all the wires going through the building if I could avoid it. Obviously you're going to have some like this here. I mean, there's no real easy way for me to get this out of the building. I don't have the capability to use the mods you do. I tried. For whatever reason, I can't make them work. I tried for like literal hours trying to get them to work. Different combinations, different load orders, so on and so forth. It just would not work for my system for whatever reason. So otherwise I could have a little hole, whatnot, and like, use a little 3-part and then like have a little hole here I could throw through. Or like the place anywhere mod. I could just, place it and then push it through a wall. That wouldn't have been a big deal. But I can't do that, at least not easily. I can kind of glitch it with some of the walls, like I did with this one up here, or just glitch through the ceiling. But that's a chore to make that happen. I have to move things around just to do it. So what did I do after that? Alright, so yeah. The glass walls on my game amazingly let me put them on top of other items, which doesn't normally work. So I was able to armor all these things so I don't get shot in there.
Got work to do. Can't talk now.
Haven't done a whole lot more. Again, on the outside, did the same thing as I did in the hallways, except I did do these one at a time. But I kind of knew what I was going to get into. I just didn't know how many I needed. So I did them one at a time, but I tried to keep them as organized as possible. So like the first one I put down would be on top, the second would be the second one down, so on and so forth. This way, as I'm going around the building, it's a lot easier for me to organize, a lot easier for me to keep track of if I kept the rule. So like the first switch is here, the second switch is here, third, fourth, so on and so forth, around that whole outside of the building. I have one power cable that goes up one source of power goes and supplies all these switches. There's only one wire supplying power into that hallway, and that's actually this wire right here. I think it's that one, is it? No, it's this one. See? This wire goes up and down, and eventually that goes down the whole thing. It goes into the window first for that main switch, because the main switch controls all the other switches. If it can turn power off to all the other switches. So yeah, that was an afterthought. I was, after I did all my wiring, I went, well, how now am I going to get power in there? Well, one lead wire and then pull off of it was the easiest way I could think of doing it. Well, yeah, the rest of the mess. The rest of the mess down here. So this was a fun little project for me. This thing right here took me probably an hour to do all by itself, because originally I didn't have this wall part. I didn't have any of this here originally. I just had those 12 outside the window, and I was going to try and get everything up here and these 12 and then in the window, and it just wasn't working. I had to get these so close together that the clipping with the wires wouldn't work very well. So I had to put the second wall in here to kind of spread it out a little bit, get them all on different levels, spread as far apart as I can, and then I could, as you can see what I did, bring things down, and then I could wire them wherever I needed to, and then these would lead to those switches, which go into the building. So that's kind of how I did my wiring. I hope, if you haven't finished yours yet, I hope that helps at least a little bit. I don't know if it will. It is very frustrating. Just take it one step at a time. Like I said, what I try to do is think like you were doing. You think about how do you want it to look, and then start with one part of it. Like I said, I started with the switches first, did all the switches, put them where I wanted them first. Then I went, okay, how do I want to get, one part of the switch out? So like the outgoing power. That's the next part I did, was just put all these out. These are all outgoing. None of this comes in. All the in is these. That's in, and all these are out. This in, and all these are out. And then, I did one part at a time. Once I got it down. Everything since then has just been like an add-on. So this is why it's got to be a mess a little bit, because, like, this switch was originally all it was. And then I decided, well, I want to put a switch way back there so I can, stand over the arena where it was easier to build. And so I needed to add that functionality in with these two little things. Just go around the inside of the whole, you saw go around the whole inside. And now I have a second switch back in there, which again I use just one of these as a lead-in power line. The other ones, all the rest are out. So I have one in, one out right now, but it could be one in, two out, which I had for a little while before I got rid of it. Now I have this switch here, which goes to those doors. So I don't have to go anywhere to let them in or out. So I hope this helps at least a little bit. Gives you some more more inspiration, as it were. Like I said, I saw you where you kind of had the lasers up on the top. I was considering doing that. The only reason I didn't is because I didn't want these guys down there while they're down there shooting at them like they do the lights. And I didn't want to try and put doors up there and so on and so forth, blocking the view. So this was my solution. I built robots, which they can die, but I overpowered them so much that I could put mini nukes on their back and they kill things in about 2 seconds flat, and the whole thing is clear. Although I haven't done that, I did it for a little while. It was ridiculous. So yeah, this is what I'm at right now. Still working on it. Like I said, I haven't, even though I'm level 90 here. This is my second playthrough, and I haven't beaten the game yet on my second playthrough, so I don't have the gorillas as an available thing yet, because I haven't gone to the Institute yet. Once I do that part, gorillas become available, and then I'm thinking about putting gorillas over there so they can enter the fight. And after that, I don't know if I'll do any more. I kind of think I'm about done with it, finally. I'd like it to be bigger like yours, but I'm certainly not going to remodel half of it to make it just a little bit bigger so I can have more large cages. So yeah, hope that did something, and I'll see you later. Love watching videos.